Hey, life is looking up at Downsize Farm. That's always been our tagline for a long time now, but especially true now, as well as the idea that the adventure continues. 2020 was going to be a year of a lot of transition anyway, but boy, does this make it a whole lot different. Bobby and I have been looking forward to a transition in which she's taking over leadership of Downsize Farm as executive director. The plan was to do it in July. A lot has happened since COVID-19 presented itself, but so certainly this whole environment of that, not only for us but the whole country, and certainly for us as a business, as a family, as a part of this community. We want to be hopeful. We want to be able to be a part of the contribution to not only keeping it safe, but also keeping it a wonderful place to live, so that all of us can be hopeful and happy in our anticipation of the things to come, like we had been. The challenges of a business are always ever before us, with whether it's the finances or the staffing or the programming, whatever is. And so that's constantly part of what we do. But we want to try to make a video recording like this every week where Bobby and I can talk a little bit about our perspective of what was, what is, what's maybe going to be, and that gives some hope, that gives some sense of happiness that we're not under our circumstances completely, and some sense of peace that things are working together for good. And so that's what we're going to try to do. So obviously there's some current concerns along the way, and with 2020 being such as it is, I might, with a lot of changes for Bobby coming up this year, let's ask you a little bit about what were some of the things you were planning on that maybe got changed a little bit.
Well, I think one of the craziest things that's been happening right now is our family, little family, Jacob and Kaylin, made some crazy decisions this just within the past few months. We've got a baby on the way. We are moving. My husband Jake just took a new job, and we're doing all of these things in the middle of a global pandemic. So
doesn't make a lot of sense, but boy, the adventure is there.
Absolutely. So I think, our mission at Downsize Farm has always been to be a path and a partner of help and of hope to live purposeful and productive lives. And we think even in this time, and especially in this time, that that's still something that's completely achievable and something that we definitely cling to.
I think part of the question is, whenever you look ahead and things like this pandemic and all of the information that obviously this, like a lot of, I guess, of the background, which I can kind of identify with other pioneers, if you would, the adventure of heading into new territory that has both an element of danger as well as an element of opportunity. We are right there. And so the COVID-19, obviously we want to be safe, but like any other generation, we factor that around with, well, what are our resources? What's in our toolbox? How can we make decisions that are helpful not only for us as individuals, but our family, as a business? We've got concerns for our clients, for our staff, for how we can serve the community, what changes we might need to make. So all of those things are things that we would look to try to make some decisions going forward about what could we do next. So when you think about some of the creative things that we've already begun to do, maybe you could share a little of it that you think that I think probably are going to work into the future.
You're thinking from a business perspective?
Either way. I mean, I know certainly, well, if you look at it from the family, I think there's some things. How has life changed for you since this has all happened, and some things that you've come up with?
Oh, wow. I think from a family perspective, just trying to navigate working from home, doing those things while taking that work life into the home, and just making it mesh with the personal life. Having the time to, make moves and change different things that way. From a business perspective, I think we've had a lot of creative things that are, similar to what we do when we're running normally, I guess, that, we're always dancing fast. We're always trying to, move with whatever's kind of thrown our way, whether that's, something that comes from the state, whether that's something that comes from the community. You just kind of take those things as they come and you run with them and make it work, and you have to be flexible. And I think, COVID-19 isn't really any different than that. It's another, just wrench in the play. You've got to figure out how to make it roll and be creative. And I think, the state has given us a lot of tools to do that in a way that's, still meaningful for our people and for our families. So.
Yeah, for us, 2020, I've coined it the year of Jubilee. It's for Midge and I, it's our 50th wedding anniversary coming up in July. And so we were also planning a bit of a transition for Bobby and I to kind of switch roles in what we do here at Downsize Farm. And that's all kind of, in some ways it's changed, in some ways it hasn't. But the specific plans have changed, but we're going to continue down that path. And I think as it turns out, it's been a tremendous opportunity for us to talk together and make decisions together. That I think is, I think one of the things that I always have thought of. Well, what do we talk about, or what's important for us? Well, seemingly we've got just so many different things where we've had to chat together and talk about what principles, what tools, what contacts do we use to make some of the decisions. For our family, this presents an opportunity for Midge and I, and Levi and Eric in particular, to look forward to say what's going to be happening down the road, and are there things that we would be doing differently. We're right in the middle of planting season that for our 2.5 acres there at Downsize Farm. It couldn't have come at a better time for us to be out and about. We certainly don't lack things to do or opportunities for things to do. The chickens are laying lots of eggs, and so that's an everyday process along with a lot of other things. But from a business standpoint, we were able to get one of the paycheck protection loans, which we're so grateful for right now. It's given us a little time to breathe. We're able to interact with all of our staff and try to begin to make some plans and work some things out. As things begin to open up, we're beginning to see of what we're able to do. And so that has been, we're grateful to the government and to all the factors that were involved. And I know a lot of these things can be criticized for what they aren't, but I know I personally feel like it's been a very positive thing that has allowed us to be able to at least have time to think about it a little bit and see what else we could do. I see the things like Bobby had mentioned, the Zoom, the other programming ideas. Bobby has put together a plan. Well, I don't know, is that on the website now?
Yes.
Of what's going to happen. We'd have clients that are calling, when are we coming back, and all those kinds of things. Staff who are wondering what's going to be next. We're right in the middle of, we're doing some cleanup around the job center here, and so we've been busy. We see it as a time of opportunity, and hopefully as we go ahead, as each day and week presents itself, opportunities to do things in the future as well. How about the community, Beth?
I think we've had a lot of really great partnerships throughout this time. I think it's also just been a great time to really see, who's your neighbor, who are the people that are there to help you, and who can you help. The county board has been really helpful, I think, in this time, providing thermometers for us as we look to go back into programming and make sure that our clients are safe. They've also just been a great resource in help of navigating the rules and just being a go-to, people that we can ask questions to and, find our answers, find our solutions. We've also had a really cool opportunity to partner with CRSI here in town. And I think that was just a really cool, thing to say, a business that's kind of considered competition, we're at a spot where, we can work together and, we're all in this together. We're a community. And I think also the Chamber of Commerce, they put on the thing with shirts where you could buy a shirt that said shop local. And that, in turn allowed both the Spotted Cow and Downsize to get a little bit of a donation for people who said, hey, I want to buy a shirt and I want the proceeds to go to this business. And so that was a really great way to have the community involved. I think another thing that we've really seen taken off without much of our help is our blessing box. So for anybody who doesn't know, we have a blessing barn right outside the coffee shop now, which is filled with canned goods. And it's something we had planned to use as a venue for our clients to stock from week to week, but it's been really cool to see the community's just been stocking it up for us, and for the community, I should say, so it's just been kind of a live venture that's been working itself out. So it's just cool to see, even in the craziness and hecticness of everything that's going on, our community is still here. We're all in this together.
I have to mention the state, the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities early on was supportive. They saw and anticipated that this was going to be a difficult time, especially for programs like ours, where we're primarily an adult day program and employment service, and that's really directly affected us maybe a little bit more than agencies who are involved with a lot of the residential. And so from that, we've seen their support. We've seen them trying to look at things that they can do with some rate changes, some other ideas, realizing that there's some protocol things. I know the county board is working on that, just helping us through that so that collectively we can come up with a plan that seems to make sense, that's both safe and yet begins to get us opened up and allow us the time as we enter in to see how this works or that works. I've talked with the State Patrol that they typically this time of the year I would have had all of our buses inspected and by the State Patrol and re-registered, and that's all kind of just, the BMV doesn't open until next week. So it is really a day-by-day and a week-by-week plan that as we go forward, anticipate there will be more things, and I think that's what an adventure is all about, that we kind of figure this out as we go, but we've got some plans and some tools in our toolbox that help us out. I remember Bobby stating the other day, one of the things she threw back to me was, don't worry when you're weary, is one of those little taglines. We have lots of little things, and from scripture verses and Proverbs to principles that go along the way, and I think that's as we go ahead each week and talk about this, we're going to see how some of those things apply and how we're using them and how some of these decisions are made.
So I think over the next few weeks, we'd really love for you guys to stay tuned. This is going to be a chance for you to see who we are as business partners and how we interact, how we make this place great, how we interact as father and daughter, and the craziness of that, and how we have learned to work together. And I think just as partners in figuring this out in life.
That's great. One of the things for me, I've always felt like we need to, from the time that we first started this agency, and thought that when Levi was born in 1994, and we just are going to be celebrating Eric's birthday here in just a couple days, and families who support individuals and their children and caregivers as well, are just concerned about their well-being and what are we going to do. And I think the great legacy of our country is that we have people and resources around us that we can lean to, and so that we really do have a hope and a peace that as we go forward, that we're going to have the ability of the quality of our life, to live, to love, to laugh, to learn, to leave the legacy that while it's going to be different, and while it might be challenging, that we can have a confidence that by God's grace we are going to figure things out and that things are going to work together for good. So we hope that this little challenge has been hopeful to you and presents a sense of optimism. We can't give you a date on when everything's going to be back to normal and what normal is even going to look like yet. But we've got plans for tomorrow and next week, and as you tune into this program each week, get updated a little bit of what's happening and what new information we might have for you. And until then, just remember that life is looking up at Downsize Farm.
See ya.